since we can't play with a lot of instruments in class, we can definitely not just make a bobo, but the kids can make instruments. And so these are some that we have made in the past. These are obviously mine that I made to show them how we could make them, but all out of recycled materials, and they can use them, leave them in the class in a bag, or take them and bring them back the next time or whatever. I did this with the kids last year when we all went on quarantine. I'm like, we can find things at home and we can make instruments, and then the next time we meet, we can play those instruments on our Zoom or whatever. And so they're all percussion things that we've made out of things you can find around your house. So that's a little
Am I doing this right?
Absolutely.
I obviously play instruments.
So that's 2 coffee can lids and some pipe cleaners to cover up the glue seam, and beads. I took from the dollar section and cut a thing of beads and glued them in there. I mean, I am the hot glue queen when it comes to making instruments.
As I think most moms probably are.
Yeah. And then they have this really cool instrument called an ocean drum, which is, it looks like a regular drum, but it has a lot of steel beads in it. And so when you swirl it around, it sounds like ocean waves. So we made some of those.
I want to go to the ocean really bad. Awesome.
Yeah, and then we actually made these right before spring break. I made maracas with the kids at school, the kinder and first graders. Mine is bejeweled because why not? They got to put stickers on theirs, but the kids loved them. And we actually had a substitute teacher that was in the building, and she saw them and she was like, I have little kids. I'm totally going to go home and do that. And she went home and made maracas with her own kids just because she saw them in the building. And then I made castanets out of bottle caps and cardboard. They're not really loud, but they totally work. And the kids were like, whoa, they're clickies. I'm like, they're castanets, but they're clickies. And then the duct tape I discovered made them a little more stiff and easier to open and close. These are floppy, so they don't work as well. You get a little more stability out of those. Obviously, your basic egg shaker, because after Easter, eggs are like 10 cents for a whole bag, so did those. And then this one was actually from a kit that I had in my classroom, so I didn't make that one. It's in here because it's in there. And then another drum that's just paper plates, and then a shaker made out of pasta sauce lids and duct tape. Duct tape is my best friend. I use it for everything.
And a different sound entirely.
Yes, everything has a different sound, which is great because if the kids in the class all choose to make something different, we have all kinds of different timbres of instruments that they can play together. Then we can use them for sound effects and stories and other things, which is what we usually do. Since I can't use all my classroom instruments, I could use the egg shakers, they're plastic, but a lot of stuff I can't clean after every class, or I don't have time or whatever. And so having their own homemade instruments made out of things that are easy to clean, or that they just get to keep and use on their own, we can use literature, read a story and make sound effects. I have like dinosaur stories, and they all have a musical aspect to them where they're dancing or whatever, and then they can create sound effects to go with the storybooks. So yeah, that's what I do with those.
So this was a great thing to do via Zoom, to keep music still a thing, still exciting, still interactive, but out of the box.
Yep, literally out of the box.
Then
it was cool because I could have them write a basic rhythm and then play what they wrote on the instrument that they made, so they didn't have to go raid the pot and pan cabinet and make their moms mad.
Right. I mean, it still might be obnoxious. I mean,
they are not obnoxious. They are musical.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, that's what I get about recorders. Those are obnoxious. Well, we didn't play recorders this year, but everybody got to make something noisy, so.
I love it. Obnoxious is like my middle name.
Yeah.
Why not?
I can be obnoxious.
It's great.
I'm a little bit extra.
That's okay. I think most artists get that.
And then this one was actually an activity that we did at that workshop that I went to in 2018. And I made these a couple years ago, but never really used them. It was so time consuming to make. But I actually did a donor's choose to get some of the parts for it. So the donor's choose paid for the drumsticks, the tambourines, and the cutting boards, which are like drum pads. And then I had one of my coworkers, her mom got these big, huge cans from where she works, and she donated 30 empty cans to me. And then, of course, my duct tape, and so I duct taped the rims so they wouldn't cut themselves, and then also for decoration, glued some foam on here. And there's actually a whole book that came with this. They're called kid sticks, but these are easy to clean if we don't use the drumsticks and we use plastic sticks, which I do have some of those in my class. Then I can clean them, and we can do all kinds of things because they make totally different sounds. And they can play on all of it, and we can create, I mean, I have a whole book of stuff to do this. And so I was like, why have I not pulled these out yet? Why have I not pulled these out? And so we've been using these a lot because A, they're easy to clean, but they're fun and they're different and they're not your traditional type instrument, and the kids love them. And the book that I have that goes with it came with all kinds of like pop songs and stuff that you could play along to. So this is what we're doing for the rest of the year. This and my bucket drumming, which is gonna give me a big headache, but Lowe's donated 15 buckets to me last year. And then I have the drumsticks or the plastic sticks, and then I'm gonna go get 15 more because I still have my donation letter, and I'm sure they will. Lowe's is awesome about that. And I promised them anytime I used them in a concert, I'd make sure the Lowe's logo showed.
That's wonderful.
They were like, whatever, you can have them. So if I get a whole class set of bucket drums, we can do some cool bucket drumming stuff too. So if you, I mean, that's it. Just do it. If you're hesitant to do the music, or you don't know where to start. You have to start somewhere. Just
make
start.
a tennis ball.
Easy, but I would suggest poking a hole in the ball before you actually cut it, so that it lets the air out.
Okay, so there's a tip.
There's one tip. Yes, I tried to cut it and it was so tight I couldn't, and so finally I just poked a hole, and I was like, oh, it's easier to cut when it's flatter. So yes.
So just do it.
Just start with a bobo. Start with a ball
and enjoy it. Thank you.
Or a tin can. Start with a tin can and a stick. You know?
Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Yeah.
And for going on this journey with us. And good luck with what you're doing. It sounds like you're having success, and your students are going to see success for probably their whole lives.
I hope. That's my hope. If I can just, lifelong music lovers is what I want.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.